There's also something he said. He talked about how in building generational wealth, there has to be a lot of intentionality. He gave examples of understanding the market to know what the market is saying so you can go with the tides. Example he gave about warehouses and how it is an investment opportunity rather, that we can leverage on because it is not booming yet, but it's one that would be very important in the future. Basically, what I learned from that is if you want to build generational wealth, you have to understand the market, be one of the first or the earliest persons to tap into a burden market so that you can build wealth. And also, like you mentioned, look at other, you know, areas of income that you can diversify, ensuring that your money works for you.
Okay, that's great. So that is his personal take home. Any other person want to share with us what they learned from last night? Any other person?
My name is Mary Joko. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. I think a major thing, apart from the things that Emeka mentioned, one of the other things I picked was looking out for functionality when we are doing things and when we are building and investing. It shouldn't just be about making it should be more about making the most of what we have, looking towards the future, not just for the immediate the now. That actually resonated with me, very much.
Okay. So we should not be thinking just of the now, but we should also think about the future. All right, David, you want to speak?
Yes, it was very insightful. I learned of two other sectors that I had never thought had the potential for investment, and that was insurance and warehousing. I never heard of anything like that till yesterday. So it was very educating in the sense that these are other possible means of investment. And in terms of debt, you cannot just collect a debt and just end up wasting it. The debt should be able to work for you. So just close to what Emeka said, like your outflow shouldn't be more than your inflow. So yeah, in terms of warehousing and insurance, that really helped me. And in the terms of using the money you have, if you have to collect a debt, it shouldn't be wasted, but actually used to earn more money. Yeah, so that's what I was able to pick.
All right, that's very powerful. That's what we call other people's money in finance. So there are people who believe that you should not take a loan for any reason. I've had people say that kind of thing, especially church people say that we are not supposed to hold people, we are to lend to nations and all that. But I think that we talk about other people's money. Usually I say that if you want to take a loan, like Prince Adetunji said yesterday, was talking about cooperative. You could take loans from cooperatives with single digit, what do they call it now?
Interest rates.
Interest on it. Yes, and then you make sure that what you are taking the loan for is something that can produce. Don't take loan to consume. So there are people who consistently have been, in fact, the truth of the matter is that most wealthy people, the most wealthy people are the ones that are most indebted. Even countries, United States of America is one of the most indebted countries in the world. But what do they do with the money? That's what matters most. And so we should also, and then another thing is to make sure that you have a solid repayment plan. Part of financial planning is to always have a solid repayment plan. You know what you are going to use to repay so that you are not perpetually in debt. We are talking about building generational wealth. We are not talking about leaving debts for the people that are coming after us and all that. So that is another powerful one. All right. What I want us to do also is I want us to put our names and our email addresses on the chat box. Our name, email address, and probably phone number. I probably have everybody's phone number, but it's a form of attendance register. So names, email addresses, and the phone numbers on the chat box. Then if you have not renamed yourself on your Zoom device, please do so. For example, I have an Infinix X6525D. I think that it is best that we recognize ourselves by our names. You remember that this is supposed to be a face-to-face conference, and in that kind of conference, you either have a name tag or something in front of you displaying your name. So we want everybody to do so. All right. So a little adjustment is to say that today we are scheduled to have 2 speakers, and these 2 speakers are myself and then Dr. Emma Collins. Unfortunately, Dr. Emma Collins may not be able to take a session tonight, which we are rescheduling for tomorrow. So tomorrow we have Dr. Emma Collins and Samuel Oposio. Today we are going to have my session, and then we are going to have elaborate discussions and rubbing of minds together to in lieu of Dr. Emma Collins. She has committed herself. Remember that we were supposed to have this earlier in the month or last month. She has committed herself to something. She was thinking that she'll be able to juggle it together, but unfortunately, she has not been able to do so. All right. What I also want us to do, please get across to everybody that's supposed to be on this call that is not, and you can get across to the other speakers if they will be available. Victor Kuchili promised to be available for all and all that. So, all right. So that is that. Because please get across to everybody that is supposed to be on this call before we start. I don't want anybody to miss anything. Okay. All right. I'm trying to see which is best for Emeka. I've made you co-host, so I want you to be at alert. All right. Change. Okay, so apart from the people who have shared with us, does any other person want to share with us what they learned yesterday? What I usually say is what you learn is what you remember after you have forgotten everything. That's usually what you learn, what you remember after you have forgotten everything. So any other person?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, my name is Oluvumi Okonoda. Yesterday, I learned the importance of policy pronouncements by government and how it can also disrupt generational wealth. And if you do not pay attention, keep abreast with what is happening, latest developments in the nation. What? You are trying to say something?
Yes, go on.
So I was saying that if you don't keep abreast with what is happening in the nation, your wealth may be disrupted. So I remember yesterday he talked about his consulting business being affected by policy pronouncements, policy statements by the federal government, and how he had to stay resilient. So it means that even as you build generational wealth and you are trying to develop multiple streams of income, you must also take cognizance of the multiple skills that you have, all the areas that you want to use to generate that wealth, so that in case one area is disrupted, you can quickly be adaptable to putting other areas forward so that you can still continue to generate wealth. I also like the analogy he made with a doctor treating a patient that is bleeding. And that was when he was talking about the inflow and outflow, that when you are bleeding, it has to stop that bleeding so that you can feel okay. And that's how it is when money keeps leaving your hand and you don't hold on to money. He talked about also controlling our appetite so that money can stay in our hands. And I remember when he was talking, I also like the fact that he mentioned the issue of gold, which was the business that I used to do. And he said that the good thing is that when those gold jewelries are being bought for the women must be ready to sell it once they need that money. But one thing he didn't remember to say was that if you don't keep that gold for years, you may not appreciate for you to actually get the value of your money out of it, and even much more. Thank you.
All right, so that is beautiful. I remember that some years you had to sell gold for us to have some money, and it was a beautiful experience that time. So I think that is something that one can also start doing once again, especially because one of the things you also said yesterday was the issue of liquidity. Real estate may not be as liquid as those precious metals. Gold is easier to sell quickly than real estate. I know somebody who wanted to sell a piece of real estate for years. Up till now, they have not been able to sell it because real estate is not something that you can just flip easily like that, especially when it is of high value. You know, some people will build duplexes, build shopping complexes and all that, and then they are in dire need of money, they want to sell it. It's not something you can easily sell like that. But those precious metals, you can easily sell them, so they have liquidity value. So that's a very important part of it. All right, so I think that with this we can move on for today's program. All right, so like I said, I will be presenting today, and please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. I can.
All right. All right, so I take it that every other person can see my screen. Please,
Yes.
if you have any questions, what I want you to do is that you can also put your questions on the comment session. Emeka, you can curate those questions together so that we don't lose them. Because yesterday, with the kind of network I had, I lost some of the things I've written on the chat. Okay, so that being said, I want us to move ahead for today. All right, so we have some people who have joined us today. Maybe Kosi, maybe you also have to introduce yourself. Kosi has been in in some of our programs in the past, but I think it's best he introduces himself for today. Kosi. Every other person have introduced themselves earlier. Are you there?
There's somebody else here too. I think Godiva. She wasn't here yesterday.
Okay. All right. So can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself? Godiva.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Godia, not Godiva. The first name is Godia.
Okay, what we have on the screen is Godiva. Maybe you are trying to funkify it.
It's a mistake.
All right, go on.
Yeah, it's Godia. That's the real name, Godia Inc.
Okay.
Yes, I'm from Jos.
All right. What do you do?
I'm a painter.
Okay, you're a painter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what kind of painting? Painting houses or painting
houses?
Okay,
Pardon?
all right. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good. Yeah.
You're welcome,
All
sir.
right. Can we have Kosi now? That's another way for us to know that you are listening. Kosi Chukwu Ekwempu. Can you introduce yourself and what you do? All right. Okay. So let's move on. I hope that is online. All right.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I was having technical issues in my phone.
Okay, it's all right. So go on.
Okay, can I be heard? Is everybody hearing me okay? I don't know.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm Kosi Ekwemfu and I'm a participant of this program. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to receive this information from the NetWealth Media or NetWealth team. Yeah, so
what do you do?
I'm a student currently, a biotechnology student.
Okay, it's all
but
right.
I'm also an aspiring entrepreneur too.
Okay, that's great. All right. So it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the psychology of money. Psychology of money. Shaping mindsets for generational wealth. As you are all aware, I am a professor of psychiatry. And so mindset has always been an issue. I actually believe that making money is a mental health issue. The more mentally stable you are, the more, in fact, we know that success is 80% psychological than the mechanics of success. In people who are successful in any field of human endeavor are the ones who understand the psychology of that arena more than just the mechanics. When we talk about mechanics, we talk about 1 + 1 = 2 of the issue. You know, talk about the operations, talk about the things that people do, they carry out. So we know that it's not the best teachers that make money, the most money out of teaching. We know that it's not the best footballers that make the most money out of football, and so on and so forth. It's the people who understand the psychology of that arena that usually do. So I've always held that belief that there must be a nexus between our thinking, our mental health, our psychology, our mindset, and making money and building money. And so we'll be talking about the psychology of money shaping mindset for generational wealth. Now, the first thing to do is to understand how the mind shapes wealth. How does the mind shape wealth? We're going to look more into the deeper emotional and psychological foundation of financial success. Well, I always say that you cannot do everything in one seminar or in one conference or in one session. But some time ago, I spoke on money, mental health, and marriage. And in that, I went into talking extensively about the meaning, the different psychological meanings of money to different people. That is why we see that some people can kill because of money, while some people can easily let go. It is not the amounts nor the things that money can buy. It is what it portends for them. But in this session, I will not go elaborately into that, except to say that some money is a medium of exchange. That's what generally economics will tell you. But it is security for some. It is self-esteem for some. It is what gives them meaning. It is, and so on and so forth. So emotional and psychological foundation of financial success has to do with our mindset concerning the issue of money and wealth. And we also know that somebody said at the time, he said, what you can charge and what you can take for your services and goods is a measure of your self-esteem. Because before money appears in your account, it must first exist in your mind. You must be able to tell yourself that you are worth so and so when you are making demands for your goods and services and so on, of course. Of course, we are not taking away the fact of the buying and selling costs. We are not taking away the fact that you must not be over exorbitant in doing things, or the general, what do they call it now? The industry, the comparative pricing about the industry. We're not taking away from there. But what we're saying is that for you to even believe that you are worth millions and that you can also make money and be a millionaire, it has to do with the mind. There are certain times in which people, when they are at the verge of their breakthrough, they pull a stop on it because they don't see themselves making such money because of the meaning that is in their mind concerning money. Now, how we think, feel, and behave around money determines how much of it we attract. Money can be attracted by your thinking, by your behavior. Of course, it's your behavior, belief that will lead to your behavior, and that's what will make people come close to you or want to give you their money or not want to give you their money. So what we attract, what we retain, and what we multiply is a function of how our belief, our feelings, and so on about money. All right. So why is the psychology of money, why does it matter? Please, I want everybody to mute themselves. Why does the psychology of money matter? I'm a psychiatrist and I'm a financial therapist. And in the course of doing my work, because when I see people, I look beyond just the complaints that they bring. Some is money that have been the problem. I've had couples that all their problems was revolving around money. And so when we were able to treat the person that came with the illness, and then we went on to talk about the money issues and all that, I have seen a lot of times in which people lose fortunes, not because they lack intelligence, not because they are not good, but because they lack insight into their own behavior. They don't know how their behavior is affecting their ability to earn money. It's affecting their ability to save money, to multiply money, and then to I invest money for the future. A man brought his wife to me at the time. By the time you hear the wife talking, you'll be wondering, how come for somebody that is that intelligent? But when it comes to money, it is not just about intellectual quotient. It's about the meaning that such money has for people. People are carrying wounds. That such money has for people. So please, I want us to mute ourselves. Carrying wounds. So please, I want us to mute ourselves. Okay. 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 So let's continue. Okay. So let's continue. David Isse, please, can you mute yourself? Please, can you mute yourself? There is feedback that I'm getting, and I don't know where that is coming from.
It's from David. It's from David.
Yes,
Please,
David, can you mute yourself? Okay, I've muted him. All right, so like I was saying, we cannot build wealth sustainably without addressing those mental scripts. Those scripts are going on in our minds. So, like I was, David, you say, please don't unmute yourself again. I muted you so that we can have a good time. So we cannot build wealth sustainably without addressing the mental script that drives our decisions. Mental scripts are the mindset, belief system. A lot of us think that we are making decisions, but we are automated already. If something happens, there is a 100% chance, or let me say 90% chance, as per the kind of response that we give, because we are already automated. Our belief system determines those things. So what are the objectives of our session tonight? What will we cover? We want to understand the emotions and biases that shape money habits that we have. We want to identify and rewire our limiting beliefs. We want to learn how to build empowering mindsets, and then to develop a personal money mindset action plan for each person. All right, so now we know that behind every financial choice that we make, there is an invisible mind, a script that is there. Every purchase, every investment, every act of giving is a psychological act. Money does not just reflect our money. Our economy. It reflects our identity, our fears, our aspiration. It reflects where we are coming from, what we have in mind, where we want to go, our fears, how we have been hurt before. In the course of preparing for this conference, in fact, we were in our seminar room one day, and we said, okay, let's make calls across to people and all that. And one of our members said, somebody said, this is network marketing. And the person went on to start advising her to say, you better don't get involved in this kind of thing. This is network. And the person was telling the person on the other side, it's not network marketing. I know what this. And then the person went on to tell her that, it is your money they want to use to enrich themselves. So those kind of people and all that. So now, while we found that very amusing, we all laughed and said that people have closed mind. Of course, it shows that this person did not even read what we have been circulating concerning what we are doing. But it's also a reflection of the fears, maybe the hurts, like we were talking about yesterday. We talked about Fadama and all that, where people lost millions of naira and they thought that they were investing. So those fears can also affect how people make choices thereafter. So in fact, sometimes last year or 2 years ago, Ezekiel Gomos himself told me that one of his cousins that he was inviting for the program, because it was our speaker, that one of his younger cousins was telling him that, uncle, these things is Fadama, and all that. So he shared it with us and said that was why we found it difficult to convince that person, despite all his knowledge and his experience and all that. What is the point I'm making? The psychological reasons behind our choices is more potent than the rational reasons behind our choices. So if you want to change your financial outcome, you must first change your internal narratives. What are you telling yourself? Some people's ideology about life is defensive. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fail. I don't want to. And once you keep on saying, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, if the I don't want is not what the brain will be hearing. What the brain will be hearing is the negative you are talking about. So when you say, I don't want to fail, your emphasis is on fail. So the brain is seeing failure. And failure is what you are most likely going to attract. And then once what you are telling yourself is what will probably happen to you. For those of us who are Christians and we know what the scripture says, we saw that Job said, what I feared most have come upon me, because that is the law of attraction. So you must change your internal narratives. You must make yourself to be somebody that can attract good things. Make yourself to be somebody that can invest and make money. Make yourself to be somebody that people can pay to listen to. People can pay for the services. People that can convince people to part with their money for your goods and services. Your choice of paying for this conference was a psychological one, like I said, and those who didn't pay also made psychological decisions. It was not, because it's not about the money. Yesterday, a professor of medicine called me and was telling me, you mean that I should register for this thing? What if I come and I don't gain as much as I think I should gain? For heaven's sake, the cost was 15,000. So I said, okay, I know that it's not that you cannot afford it. What is the problem? The person laughed and laughed. I said, okay, I'll get back to you. She never got back to me. So it's a psychological decision. It's not about the money. Now, we know that money has to do with a lot of emotions. But emotions don't just come from nowhere. Emotions are also biologically based. In psychiatry, we know about the limbic system, our emotional brain. And that emotional brain usually hijacks rational decision making. That is why you see people, they make a lot of decisions based on their fears. And as you are even trying to get across to them, I remember that we were talking about somebody in the office recently that we're not getting across through to this person. There was no way we could even go on with the rational emotive therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy that we wanted to do for this person to see things in different ways, because the emotions were just overclouding everything. So you see, that's why you have a nurse some years ago who had a fracture and went to traditional bone setter. That was an emotional hijack. So people spend impulsively because of emotion. In fact, for someone like me, I always have to train myself. Every time I'm passing through where there are books, I tell myself I have many books I've not read yet, because impulsively I may just buy. Books are my addiction. So people sometimes avoid budgeting and they panic through economic uncertainty, because the emotional brain, the limbic system, has hijacked everything. So the prefrontal cortex, which is the place for executive decision, for planning, on the other hand, it helps us to plan, to delay gratification, to think about everything rationally, to weigh the different options and all that. It helps us to be able to invest wisely. So if you want to have mastery over your money, you must have mastery over your emotion. You must be able to put things on the table and analyze. And you must be able to delay gratification. In fact, sometimes when you say anything that somebody say, do it now. Tomorrow is late. I always pull a plug on it. As long as it's not a life and death situation. So we must master your finances. And it is not just about knowledge. It is about neural discipline. It's about making sure that you control your impulses. So what are the positive psychology of money? The positive psychology of money. Number one, we must cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is positive. Seeing positive in things, being able to see a reason to be thankful rather than always looking at the negative about everything. This makes you feel abundant even before the money arrives. You have a sense of satisfaction. Optimism is another thing. Optimism fuels persistence. Optimism is what makes us believe that I can do it. Even when the thing is not going on well, you believe that I can do it. So I want to try one more time. I want to try one more time. But the person that is pessimistic will just drop it. And sometimes you are just at the verge of breakthrough where you will drop it. But optimism says, I deserve better. I should be able to do more. Generosity is the next thing. It creates a network of trust and goodwill. You may be generous with money. You can be generous with your time. You can be generous with your affection. You can be generous with your act of service, and so on and so forth. You can be generous with compliments. And you know, everybody wants to be around the person that makes them feel good. So generosity, it creates a network of trust and goodwill. So these are not just moral virtues. They are neurochemical investment in happiness and success. So they have biological construct. They have biological construct. Are you still with me? Please, if you are with me, I want you to give me feedback so that I know I'm not talking to myself.
Yes, we are with you.
All
Okay,
right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So what about the negative psychology of money? Negative psychology of money. Many people live trapped in financial fear, guilt, shame, and envy. A few years ago, I was traveling. And usually when I travel, I like to go in public transport like that. And so the car broke down somewhere before we got to Kefi. And as we came down, and then we saw one under Accord. Well, it was looking good and all that. And as the under Accord drove by, somebody said, look at them, the people that stole Nigerian money. I was amused and shocked at the same time. I turned to him, I said, you mean that somebody cannot walk legitimately and buy an under Accord? Is an under Accord, for heaven's sake. That will tell you the mindset that this kind of person have about money. There are people who believe that you cannot make money except you are corrupt, except you cheat people, you change figures, and so on and so forth. Such people already have a limitation upon a lead upon how they can make money. So people have financial fears, fear of losing money. Some have fear of making money, believing that when they make money, people will come and be coming after them, and so they don't want to make money. Some believe that they will be forced to help others, and they don't want that stress. You know, some believe that it will show that, after all, he said that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. So people have all sorts. In fact, some will tell you where the scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil. They will say money is the root of all evil. A great difference, but a difference all the same. Now, some have guilt, some have shame, some have envy. They envy anybody that seems to be making it financially. Now, these emotions activate the same neural circuit as pain and addiction. What are we saying? The same thing, because the moment you start having these emotions and you are having them, it becomes a vicious cycle. Just like people get addicted and they always want to have the substance of addiction or the behavior of addiction, so also people get used to this cycle of guilt and shame and envy, and that becomes their repetitive action. So they keep people oscillating between scarcity and self-sabotage. They are never truly free. Shame, guilt, envy, and fear. Now, I've already started talking about it. As I'm talking, you probably will have seen that you might have had one or two of these experiences and all that. How do we then have our money mindset? How do we form it? I believe our money are formed early. You know, sometimes it's from parents, from our culture, and then sometimes from the experiences, our lived experiences, what we have seen people happen around us or happened to us. So it could be modeling. For example, you have heard money is the root of all evil. When it says the love of money, and that love does not mean liking money to do good things. So it simply means loving money to the point of wanting to do bad and not minding how your actions affect people negatively and all that. But in the subconscious now, we already believe that money is the root of evil. Others have learned that love must be earned through giving, and now they overgive financially because they don't believe that people can be loved without money. How to show that you love people or people love you, what makes people love you is by giving. And so when they have nothing to give, they have a sense that they are not loved, they are not accepted. And so they give and give and give to the point of bankruptcy in order to seek validation of people and so on and so forth. That's why I tell people, you must have a budget and be able to say no. Some of the ways I do it these days is to tell people, I have exhausted my budget for giving and I don't have any guilt about it. Otherwise, you will think that giving is what makes you to be a good person. And you give away your investment, you give away the things that is supposed to make you have generational wealth. No, we should do better than that. So we know that these unconscious scripts continue to play out until we rewire them. If you don't rewire them, that is what we are going to continue to have. Now, there are other ways which I didn't put here. Sometimes it is particular incidents. For example, there was somebody, the parents were arguing about money when the father suddenly went into cardiac failure, heart attack, and the man gave up the ghost. So this person has persistently and consistently associated money with death. And the pain is always there. In fact, the person went on to become a theater nurse. Why? Because apart from the issue of money, that incident alone shaped what career path she took. She's still wanting to save daddy. And so this continued to play out. So sometimes we think that we are making decision. Decision has been made in our mind. What are the common mindsets that people have about money? And as I'm speaking, you should be thinking about yourself. So people can have scarcity mindset, scarcity mentality, and this is fear. They believe. In fact, let me tell you, many of our politicians that stack away money, many of our politicians that stole money and they put in Swiss accounts, it's the scarcity mentality. That's what they have. Because why do you think that you need to stack away money for your generation that is to come? No, when we are talking about building generational wealth, we are not saying you should carry money that can be used to build sustainable things in the future and go and stock it somewhere because you believe that money cannot be made. Once you leave office, money will be finished. That's scarcity mentality. So people have fear and all they want to do is just to survive. People have scarcity mentality. That's why they compete. They believe that once this person buys from me, they don't think that other people will be there to buy from me. So they were struggling and stealing customers and doing all those kind of things. Scarcity mentality. It occurs in, that is why people compare themselves, people compete and all that because of scarcity mindset. But there's a positive one, abundance mindset, that results from confidence and growth. In fact, and I recommend this book for people. Oh, the name just escaped me. It says, even if what you want is not available, that the universe has a way of creating it for you. I've forgotten the name of that book. Believing that, see, there is abundance in the universe. There is abundance in the universe. You must have confidence. If you don't have customers now, you will have your own customers. That somebody has decided to go and buy from one person does not mean that there will not be other people that will buy from you. You must have abundance mindset. Then another thing that people can have is entitlement mindset. They want reward without effort. They feel entitled to other people's money. They feel entitled to other people's results. That is why people envy others. They are jealous. They want to have what they have. Meanwhile, they don't know the effort that people have put to get to where they are. Entitlement mindset. In fact, there was somebody that was telling me, "Oh, you can afford this now. Why are you being stingy? You are not giving me the money." I said, please, can we mute ourselves? So the person was saying, "You can afford this. Why are you not giving me the money?" And I told the person point blank, I said, if I like, I can carry my money and go and throw it into water. You are not the one that will determine how I spend my money. You can't make me feel guilty for not wanting to fund your foolishness. I put it across to that person that way. It may sound harsh, but that was a reality at that point in time. So then there are people who also have growth mindset, which is a positive, isn't it? So a growth mindset is why you are probably here. I don't know if Prince Adetunji is on the call today. Please, maybe Grace can try to reach out to him. That man, at least as far as we know, is a grandfather, is an elderly person, is the president of the Elders Forum in my church, and he has thriving businesses. But if you remember what he said yesterday, he said, I want to learn. I want to learn about real estate, and I want to learn from people who are already doing it and all that. That's growth mindset. Ability to learn, to keep learning and adapting. But we also have people who have survivor mindset. Survivor mindset. What is survivor mindset? They are thinking of here and now. That is that survivor mindset that is so hard. Give me this thing or I die. If I don't make this money now, there's no future for me. And so they keep on having short-term decision-making that jeopardize their future. So that's why people will tell you, how much am I earning? And I tell people, whatever you are earning, plan in percentage. Although we know that sometimes the old money may not be anything. That's why we also have the session that Dr. Emma Collins is going to come and take that talks about multiple streams of income. So everything is covered for you. So, but we say that we should have generational wealth mindset, not just survival of now, here and now. Everything must finish. Everything is about taking care of the immediate. No, we must think of the future. So the question is, which one dominates your financial decisions today? Which of these mindsets dominates your financial decision today? The decision you are making, how are you making it? Now, for us to move on, you already had these things, and I'm sure that you are thinking in your mind, you are locating yourself, whichever one that you have. Most of us, we have all of them in one way or the other, while some may be dominating and all that. But the first thing that you must be aware, so Socrates that say, man, know thyself. Awareness is the first therapy. The power of awareness. If you are not aware, in fact, in the scripture, it says, know you not yourself, and say you'll be reprobate. If you are not aware of your mindset, of what is determining how you do things, either it is fear, there's self-consciousness of not wanting to look poor to people. Some people, the illusion of wanting to look wealthy has made them poor. If you are not aware, you will not be able to do anything. But when you name the belief that you have, the belief, you begin to neutralize its power. That's why I often tell people financial freedom begins with psychological literacy. You must be aware of your fears, of your projections, and so on and so forth. So this reflective activity reflects to yourself. Take a few minutes to recall your earliest money memory. What does money portend for you? What did you observe at home concerning money? Are you the one that people will say, do monies grow on trees? Are you the one that will say, we cannot afford it? You know? Or you are the one that there is positive thinking about money to say, okay, let me see what I can do. I told somebody, I said, anytime I need to do something, I'm always thinking in terms of how do I increase my earnings, not to think of who else will fund it for me. So were there conflicts around money in your home? I've given you an example of a father who died and when there was an argument about money. Was there peace or tension when money is talked about? These are the things that will help you to remember your money story, where you are coming from. Your answers will reveal the emotional blueprint that has shaped your financial behavior thus far. So it is a rhetorical one. So what are the limiting beliefs? What are the limiting beliefs in money psychology? There are people who have limiting beliefs. I already shared some with you, but some will say, I'm not good with money. You know, I cannot save. When money comes into my hand, it must go. So if you know that, what are you doing about it? Some people will tell you rich people are greedy. Rich people are greedy. In fact, Yorubas have one saying, they say, meaning that the source of wealth is always dirty, is dirty. So if people have those kind of mentality, what happens? Although it can also be a positive one to say, okay, it is the labor that occurs from that from the labor, you know. Like now, sometimes I used to tell people, of course, I'm not in that field anymore, that as a doctor, sometimes you do what we call PR. That is rectal examination. You stick your finger into the anus of somebody, of course, glove though, in order to make to examine them for things like hemorrhoid, growth, and so on and so forth. But then when you make this, get your salary, people will think, oh, so it's the source of wealth could be dirty, could also mean something like that in the positive, to say there's dignity in every labor. But if the interpretation to you is that the source of wealth is always dirty in terms of corrupt and all that, there is no way you are going to be rich in this world when you don't believe that people can legitimately make money. So these statements are not financial statements. If you see, they are emotional defenses. Money does not make you rich. Lack of money does not make you poor. It is the emotions that there are with money that determines those things. So there are emotional defenses protecting you from perceived pain that money portends. So what then is the solution? We have what we call cognitive restructuring, trying to help you change your belief system, the way you think about money. So it simply means catching your thoughts and then questioning it. and replacing it with either one. Cannot go into details. If you want help, we do this on one-on-one basis and all that. Like I always tell people, of course, a conference like this is always cheaper because one is one-on-one and all that. You pay good money for it and all that. But it has helped a lot of people. We have saved marriages. We have saved people's finances. We have helped people to be able to craft new success stories and all that, plans for their future. And somebody came to me as I quickly dashed. I went to the office to do some work today, to the clinic and all that. One person said, oh, it was just passing the neighborhood and all that. This person told me, said, finally, I have graduated. This was somebody that came to me when he has already left school. And when he got, we treated him, he got well. We did a lot of cognitive restructuring for him and all that. Went back to school since 2017, and now he's an architect. These are things that cognitive restructuring is. So a belief system, a change of thoughts, a change of thinking. So over time, your brain now starts rewiring itself. New neural pathways are formed to support the new behavior. And before you know it, it becomes a way of life. So you can see that money is not just about naira and kobo. It's about a lot of cognitive things, emotional things going on in our mind. All right, so when we talk about reframing, we are talking about changing the meaning, that the negative meanings that may be running your life concerning money. For example, you have a militant belief that says money is hard to get. Money is hard to get. But there's an empowering reframe that you can change to say, I create value that attracts money. Because I tell somebody, you must be a person of value. You can't be hustling. When people tell me they are hustling, what are you hustling for? Be somebody. In fact, let me just tell you, you can be, as long as you are visible, you can be on your own and good things will come and meet you. How many proposals have I written for me to be able to get training and speaking engagements and all that? How many? So you can be a person of value and create value that will attract money. If you have a belief to say that you are not disciplined, you can reframe it to say, I am learning and growing in financial discipline. You tell yourself that. Or you have a belief that say rich people are bad. You can reframe it to say wealth can be a force for good. Let me tell you, anybody that knows that if you have money, it is easier to be able to change people's lives, to affect people's lives positively. I used to tell people that some of the things we have been able to do for people, for ourselves, for people and others, there's no way it could have come if we don't have a sustaining business that can fund some of those things. You need to be, wealth can be for good for people. Now, wealth is not just about naira and kobo. Like I said, money is not just about naira and kobo. There's a science behind it. And we talk about the neuroplasticity. Because what does neuroplasticity mean? It means that anything you do over and over, you increase in capacity to do it. The brain actually develops itself, it expands to be able to have competencies to do it. So the brain is plastic. It changes based on what you think, imagine, and repeat. So that's why those of you who have heard me speak many times, all this enemy must do this, enemy. When that is what you are thinking all the time, that's what you keep on seeing. That's what you are keep on imagining. Enemy, you see enemy in everything, that's what you will see. But when you are thinking positively and you are optimistic, you start seeing positive things, you start seeing optimistic things. It is a science, it is biological. It's not just religion or whatever. So when you visualize wealth and take aligned action, you are literally building neural highway for success in your brain. That's what happens. You are literally building neural highway. You are training your brain to think in the positive. All right. So this is why affirmations and vision boards work. They are not magic. They work. Those of you here who are ladies, you probably know. It happens to all of us, but if a woman says, I want to buy a yellow shoe, that's the day she will start seeing yellow showing all over the place. Why? Because her brain has been sensitized to notice that thing. A man wants to buy a black car or BMW or whatever. He has not been noticing BMW before. He will start noticing BMW. So it's not magic, it's neurotherapy. So then there's emotional regulation. Remember that we're talking about the psychology of money. You cannot talk about financial behavior without emotional regulation. That's why some people, the moment they get their money, they are not addicted to substances, but they are addicted to buying. Any little thing, they buy. Any little thing, they buy. They cannot delay gratification. So when stress rises, logics fall. Emotional regulation is financial regulation. That is it. Many of you know about emotional intelligence. Emotional regulation is financial regulation. Because when you are not able to regulate your emotion, you will buy on impulse. So you must pause, you must breathe, you must reflect before you react, before you make decisions. Opportunities are coming to you, you are refusing it, you are rejecting it, you have not even sat down. Like those people that members of my team told me, they have not even sat down to look at it, to find out what is it they are talking about. They have made a conclusion to say, this is network marketing. There's nothing wrong with network marketing, but they probably are mistaking network marketing with Ponzi schemes and with pyramid scheme and all that. They didn't think. So that's how you move from impulse to intentional spending, by thinking, by reflecting, by analyzing before you take action. Please, can everybody mute themselves? All right. So now, the other time we talked about gratitude changing everything, isn't it? But gratitude is not just a religious thing, it's also neurochemical. It's not just spiritual. You know, one of the things most people don't know is that the feel-good hormone neurotransmitter is dopamine. So when you eat and you get satisfied, dopamine is released. When you ace your goals and you feel that sense of satisfaction, you pass an exam, dopamine. It's the same thing for when people take substances, it's dopamine. When they have sex, it's dopamine. The same thing happens when you have gratitude. You feel a sense of well-being. It's dopamine, it makes you feel good. So dopamine, serotonin improve our patience and decision-making. The more grateful you are, the more clear-headed you will be. But when you are somebody that is always complaining, these things are obliterated. So people who regularly practice gratitude make more thoughtful, long-term financial choices. Be contented with what you have. We are not saying you be complacent, but you be grateful for what you have while you are aspiring for greater things ahead. It is biological, it is neurochemical, it is neuroplasticity. So there's also the delayed gratification. What is the discipline of delayed gratification? How does it help? Studies show that those who master delayed gratification build stronger wealth portfolios. There are people, once things are not going well, they just sell their shares, sell this one, sell that one. 10 years later, in fact, sometimes 2-3 years later, those things are troubled, doubled, and quadrupled. So, as a psychiatrist, I see that the ability to wait is linked to emotional maturity. Ability to wait, ability to delay gratification. In finance, patience pays, literally. It puts money in your pocket, literally. So, literally, it puts money in your pocket because you may have more money. So, you can have financial self-awareness. Do you? Ask yourself, when do I spend money impulsively? Is it when you are happy? Is it when you are sad? You find out what makes you spend money impulsively. Some is fear, fear of losing out or missing out. We call it FOMO, fear of missing out. Makes people to spend beyond what they should spend and all that. I remember there was a time we were thinking about getting a property adjacent to the church, and the person that wanted to sell it to us, we just come and be saying, no, the price is going up, this and that. At the time, we told ourselves, what is it? It's not as if we don't have a church that we're already using. We had to put a plug on it because the person was just using emotions and all that one for us to make impulsive buying. So what emotions trigger your impulsive buying? It is important that you write these things down and you think about them and you analyze yourself. What emotions trigger impulsive buying? Who influences your financial choices? And we know that awareness creates control, and control builds confidence. If you can have mastery over your thinking, you will be able to confident, and confidence also pays you money literally. So how do you then build strong and healthy financial habits? I will just say a few things that others have said and all that. You can automate your saving and investing. You can automate your saving and investing. I told somebody the other time, I said, come rain, sunshine, a certain amount is saved in different things. Either it goes to cooperative, or it goes to adache, it goes to investing, and so on and so forth. So that sometimes when you are telling people you don't have money, it's not absolutely that you don't have money, it's that you don't have money to spend for that thing that they are talking about. So automate your saving and investing. Then track your expenses weekly. Many of us don't track our expenses. I tell people you must have a formula for saving and a formula for spending. Some people actually physically put it in envelopes, how much they are going to spend on certain things, and they track it. Then celebrate small wins. Celebrating small wins is like having gratitude. Because the more you celebrate small wins, you'll be able to do greater things. But there are people who are self-depreciating. You commend them about what they have achieved. They say, what is it? Is that where I'm supposed to be? And all that. My brother, my sister, where are you supposed to be? There are people younger than you, bigger than you, that are already 6 feet down. So celebrate your small wins. The more you celebrate, dopamine is released, the better you are at celebrating. So this creates a sense of progress, and the brain loves that sense of progress. So we must move from survival to strategic living. Victor said it yesterday as well. Many people just live reactively. They react to situations instead of them to be proactive. So they pay bills, they solve crises, they survive, repeat. So they get their money, pay bills, solve crises, survive, repeat. Nothing for the raining day, no escrow account, no escrow account, no emergency fund, no investment account, nothing. But financial therapy helps you to move from survival to strategic living. You start designing your life with intention, not reaction. That is what we help you to do. The psychology of generational wealth says that the issue we are talking about is not just about money, but a mindset transfer. So you are transferring the way you think. There's a way rich people think that is fundamentally different from the way middle class people or poor people think. Somebody said one time, I read somewhere, the person came home and said, Daddy, most of my friends don't come in cars anymore. They come in trains. And the father said, okay, so you want us to go and buy a train now? Because they don't think small. Things in terms of, okay, what is needed to be able to move, to make life easier. That's the mindset, a mindset of abundance, So we must pass on discipline, emotional intelligence, and ethical wealth values to the next generation. That's how families and institutions remain stable across generations. There are names, when you call them, say a good name is better than silver or gold. That good name is not in the name itself, it's in the behavior, the character, the integrity that's associated with that family. So what is the role of financial therapy in all this that we have said? Financial therapy bridges psychiatry and finance, mental health and finance, let me put it that way. It helps individuals and organizations to align their financial goals with their emotional health. And that's what we're about in Network. We say we help individuals and organizations to achieve sustainable success with mental and emotional well-being, mental and psychological well-being through our therapy, rehabilitation, trainings, workshops, and so on and so forth. So you can see this holistic. So because financial chaos often hides deeper psychological wounds, there are people whose problems is finance. But there are people whose problems are more than finance, but it comes out in finance. When somebody spends impulsively, there's a pain that this person is trying to hide. How do we then build healthy neural pathways? I've told you that finance is more than just this decision you think we are making, is building neural pathways, and you can build neural pathways for negatives as well. So how do you ensure that we build healthy neural pathways? Each time you make a financially healthy decision, you strengthen the neural pathway of wealth. So it's not just about income, it's about identity. Who are you? What have you become? Who are you becoming financially? Somebody that can make sound financial decisions, devoid of emotional manipulations, or somebody that just dance to the whims and caprices of the emotions. Who are you becoming? And then you know that we are a human capital development organization. So as someone who is passionate about human capital development, I believe that the greatest investment is not in stocks or real estate, but in the human mind. Is in the human mind. I have seen people, in fact, I know one. I said it yesterday, and I'm saying it again. The moment the father died, within few months, the children were already selling all the assets. I don't think they have anything left. And in fact, they will even go to the organization that the man has used his life to build. They will go and get the chief operating officer and the chief executive officer and accountant and ask them to give them money arbitrarily like that. So, but it is because this man built wealth in terms of bricks and mortars and things like that, but they didn't build the human mind of the children. So when people are psychologically empowered by building their mind, they can create sustainable wealth system that outlive them. That is what we are doing. That's why we are doing what we are doing. So we have used the financial therapy perspective. We are using the human capital perspective to be able to build wealth. So, well, what are the takeaways from this session? We know that money behavior is emotional before it is rational. And there are limiting beliefs that are unwritten, but we can rewrite them. We can rewrite them into positives. We can reframe them into positives. And we also know that cognitive restructuring rewires your brain for success so that you can start attracting success. And financial therapy bridges healing and wealth creation. All right, so what reflexive exercise is there for us? Are we together? Please let me know if we are together.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is a reflective exercise. What belief about money are you ready to release? That which is not doing you well, that's not serving you well, that you need to remove from your release and it should not be part of your armament of life again. Then what new mindset are you embracing? Please, I want you to write these things down because this is a workshop. We are not supposed to just come and listen to lectures and leave it there. How will this new mindset influence your daily action? Remember that we say that you should have a plan. In our work, we talk about 24-hour daily schedule, and I tell people you should plan your leisure as well, plan your giving, plan the people you visit. So in that, we talk about triggers, things that can trigger you. Usually we talk about substance abuse, but things that can also trigger you to make wrong financial decisions. It could be people. Who do you associate with? Are you associating people who see positives or people who are always seeing negatives? Are you associating with people who are looking at possibilities? Or you are associating with people who are always looking at things that cannot be done? Some people, once you bring an idea, they tell you 1,001 reasons why that idea cannot be done. And yet people are doing those ideas and they are making millions. How with which one do you want to release? And which new mindset do you want to embrace? So people, places, clubs, and all those things that you associate with determines who you become financially. So in conclusion, your financial story is not fixed. It can be rewritten, and it begins in the mind. Every healthy thought, every conscious choice, every disciplined action is a brick in the foundation of your generational wealth. When Dr. Emma Collins comes, we are going to talk about multiplication of income streams, the multiple streams of income. So from mindset to multiplication of our income stream, where psychological means strategy. That's the next thing. However, this is where I put an end to it. I don't know if you have questions, if you have clarifications or comments concerning what we have done. Please let me know.
Good evening, sir.
Alright, so okay.
Good
Okay,
evening, sir.
good
Are you getting
evening.
me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
So it's a question that I have, sir, to ask more clarification on an aspect. When let me say, based on investment decision, like what psychological bias that really affect our investment decisions? Because let me say, I have a friend that is into stock investment, like that of what Mr. Victor spoke about yesterday. And not that it's not really in profit in some of the shares that he bought, but will I say overconfidence, or he will just leave it there hoping he will get more percentage, and then at the end of the day he loses everything again. I don't know if you can just help us highlight some psychological bias that affect our investment decisions when it comes to investment decisions.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Psychological bias. Sometimes it could be lived experiences, you know. Sometimes it could be greed, you know. Not wanting to take small gains. Let me put it that way. There are certain things I'm trying to remember now, but we about 3 or 4 years ago we did something about psychological biases and all that, but I don't seem to remember those names. I will get them across to you. But you know, sometimes we have where people are being told that, see, you have a belief that when you have your stocks, it's supposed to increase. It's supposed to generate a certain amount. So sometimes it's great. It also happens to people who are doing Forex. Once they are seeing it, they are not satisfied. They want big whatever, and eventually it will swipe it away. So sometimes it is that inability to celebrate small wins, because the idea is that you can be progressively moving forward. But when somebody believes that, some of the problem is they want to hit it. You know, when people talk about breakthrough, and I tell myself, what is, they say, if I make it, I will hit it once. So they believe that wealth is an instant thing, or it's not progressive to them. So if somebody makes money, he buys a stock and the stocks increases and you make your gains out of it. It doesn't matter if the stock multiplies at another time. You probably would have improved and increased your knowledge and all that before you get there. But when people have a fixed mindset, they don't want to improve their knowledge. They just believe that things will be there. I remember in those days when we are doing network marketing, people would tell me that, oh, you mean that when I invest, I will just come back. I say it's not an investment. It is business. You must market and get your business, but they think that, oh, I just put the money there, it's just good. So those are kind of belief system that is not talking about progressive increase or progressive improvement of your knowledge, of your asset and all that. That is a cognitive bias of a sort. I hope I answered you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Yes. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All right. Should I be answering my own questions? Should I be asking my own questions?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Okay, please.
Concerning the concepts, I think you
Who
mentioned
is
something
speaking?
about Kosi. It's Kosi.
Okay, Kosi. All right, go on. Yes.
So we talked about the concept of money. My
Yes.
question is, what is like the level ground concerning, like, is there actually a level ground for conceptualizing money? Because people have different perspectives on what money is and what money means to them. So is there actually a fair ground? Would I say, is there a fair ground? Is there
I understand what
identifying what money is? Because people see money in different ways. So I feel from what I'm just getting to is that from the basis of understanding what money is to oneself, one can acquire wealth because
Yes.
due to the motives they have behind even having money in the first place. So that's what I just want to know. What can we define money? Or is there a general, conceptualization of what money is to begin with?
All right. Thank you very much. Like I said earlier, what you will see in economics or economics basically is that money is the medium of exchange. That is basically it. You are paid money to be on this call. We are exchanging our knowledge for the money that you are paid. Money is a medium of exchange. However, that's so simplistic. There is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to say that money means the same thing to everybody. However, there are certain basic things that we know about money. Money is a defense. You will even read that in the scriptures. Money answereth all things. You will even read that in the scriptures. What that means is that money, some people will tell you money takes away shame. So money means security because, for example, to have shelter, to have food, money means survival. To have food on your table, you need money. To have security on your, shelter on your head, you need money. So money will mean survival, will mean security. Sometimes money will mean self-esteem. Will mean honor. There's a saying in Yoruba that translates literally to, if you are going in search of money and you get honor in the process, don't just turn back. Because when you get the money, you will use it to to buy honor. So money means honor. You'll probably hear people tell you that alert is an antidepressant. So money means happiness. It can buy you not only just medium of exchange, it can buy you the good things of life. It can buy you things that make you feel on top of the world. It can buy you things that sorry, I think I just went off for some time, isn't it? Are we still
Yes.
together?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we're together.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
I
sir, I
can
can
hear
hear you.
Okay, so money will means defense. Money will mean survivor. It may mean honor. It may mean glory. It may mean so many things to people like that. So, but then money can also mean power. You know, when people want to have power over others, ability to control others. So money has different meanings to different people, but basically it's a medium of exchange. So now, if money can also mean ability to change people's lives positively, sometimes one of the ways to define people's purpose is to say, what is it that if money is not an issue and you have money to be able to do the things you want to do, what will you be spending your time doing? You see people saying, oh, they can use their money to change people's lives, to buy things for this, to train this person and all that. That's what money is to them, ability to change other people's lives for the positive and so on and so forth. So you can see how money has different meanings to different people. That is why some people can mean because of money, because when money means power over another, control over another, it becomes a problem. Kosi, have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So do we have any contributions to this?
Can you hear me?
Anybody?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I think there's another mindset that I was thinking about. I've heard a number of people talking, and it stops them from making long-term plans. They tell you that something can happen to somebody anytime, and the person may die. So why should I make long-term plans? And because of that, they will not think of making investments. They will not think of, they will not think too far into the future. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't hear that very well. Can you say that again?
I said that people have the mindset that life is too short, to make long-term plans per se. Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, ma, but I don't know he's hearing you, ma.
I don't think he's hearing me.
Yes, but we can hear you.
Yes, because there are people who don't make long-term plans because they feel life is too short, and why should we make such plans? We could die anytime, so blow your life. Others will tell you that Jesus is coming soon. So because of that, let us not make any long-term plans. And that kind of mindset also, can actually stop us from moving forward and making generational wealth.
I agree with you, although I lost you at some time. But what I understand you to have said is when people say somebody can die anytime, so what would now be the benefit of it? So why labor for all these things when you can just die anytime and leave it? Well, it's a cognitive distortion. Yes, because you can die anytime doesn't mean that you cannot influence the generation that is to come. If you are living for yourself alone, that's when you are thinking in terms of, I will die and just leave everything. What about your family? What about others? What about the generation that is to come after you? And so on and so forth. So, like I was telling somebody the other time, when people say that, some people camouflage their selfishness and self-centeredness in so-called contentment. So they don't want, I just want what I will eat and drink. It's enough for me. I don't want to all this running around. Meanwhile, there are millions of people who could do with food on their table, whose destiny are tied to you if you do well and better, but you don't want to. So but wealth can only come to people who think great. And in that greatness, there is thought of affecting a large number of people and and generations that is to come. Did you get that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So any other, okay, maybe we can go back to this, our reflective exercises. Let's go to our reflective exercises and see what we can make out of it. Okay, so here it says, what belief about money are you ready to release? Are there any negative beliefs about money that we want to do away with? We have mentioned some of them, isn't it? What new mindset are you embracing? Does anybody want to share with us?
I've written mine down. So one mindset I think I'm going to embrace is the mindset of abundance.
Beautiful.
Whereby the universe has an overflowing amount of resources and we attract what we conceptualize in our mind. And we attract what we perpetually practice and dish out. And then the second one is that money, okay, the mindset that, okay, the belief that I'm ready to release is that money given in large amounts is illegal. It's always illegal. So when you see large amounts of people getting large amounts of money, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing something bad. So, and that's to envy, I believe. So, yeah, just getting rid of all forms of envy.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And then, of course, it will also make you to be able to strive and work for to be wealthy and have large amount of money or wealth, because you know you can do it and still be okay. Yeah. That is the consequence of such belief. it helps you to be able to, let me just tell you, there was a time in my life, if I discovered it, that's why I actually came into this area. I discovered it that once I'm getting to the verge of doing something big, that I should get to the next level, I put a plug on it. Maybe there are people that I'm supposed to see, there are places I'm supposed to go that will launch me to greater things and all that. I will just slow down on it. It's as if one does not want that big thing and all that. You understand? And I just discovered that that was like a recurrent decimal and all that. So I have to study and then break it and do I still notice that I have to, actively overcome that kind of thing. Look, I've told people in my team, there are people in my team that are on this call that when sometimes they say, oh, we need to see somebody so that we can be able to get this deal or achieve something like this and all that, say, okay, let's look, who are we going to see to be able to connect that person? And I'll just look into my phone and just get the number of that person and show them and say, okay, go and call. In fact, Chimi at the time was looking at me. So you know this kind of people and all that. Why have I not been able to turn that into is this kind of thing that because from the mindset to say that work for your thing, you don't need anybody. That's how I grew up. And that thing still plays a part in how I do things and all that. Of course, we agree with me that I have overcome that to a certain extent, but it's only to a certain extent. So all of us are affected by this mindset that are playing out in our lives. But the essence of this is to be able to overcome these cognitive biases and these negative beliefs and then go on to build wealth. There is nothing. There was a time people will say you are into everything. No, I'm not into everything, but I always want to solve problems to move forward. So these are some of the things. All right. So Kosi has shared with us, but I want everybody to be able to write these things down. Remember that we said that we should have new personal plans going forward. I already have my own that emanated from me studying this over and over again. Do you have your own? Do you have what? For example, about 2 or 3 days ago, we had a sit out with one coach, Sam Obafemi, and in that discussion, other things came up that made me make up my mind that I am going to do this and do this and do this and do this. So there are plans already based on trying to overcome some of these restrictions that one might have put upon himself. So you have to write your own down because I'm writing my own down. I've written some things down. It may be difficult to share it on this call, but I will also send us some things like a participant manual that can help to ask those questions, and then we can dilate on it later. All right. So I don't know if the Adetunji has something to share with us today concerning what you have learned.
Okay, Prof, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, Prof, and all other participants. I quite enjoy quite a lot of this psychological way of thinking about how to make money. Well, one thing I want to, maybe it's a question or maybe it's a comment. Have you ever come across a situation whereby you are doing something and you think you are just at the verge of succeeding, and suddenly you got discouraged and went back?
Yes.
Once, twice, three. Then after some years, you now sit down and recall back, why did I stop this activity? Activity 1, activity 2, up to, like it's like an occurring decimal. No. Some people can attribute it to fear of risk or of the unknown. Some people can say, it's a spiritual attack that the person is going through and he couldn't overcome it. But I've come to realize that the human being is made in such a way that your thinking and the things you are able to do, especially those things that you enjoy doing, once you are doing it and you are getting results, continue, do not stop. Once you are doing it, you are getting results, put the fear of failure aside. In most cases, one succeed in those areas. So, but as a psychologist, do you think is it a imbalance in that person's brain work or whatever? Or do you have a way of attending to such people who comes to you and say, look, I was doing this and I was about succeeding and I dropped it once, twice, three, up to 4 or 5 times. How do you handle such?
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Sometimes we have to go back into the meanings that the things hold for them. The meaning. For example, for some people, asking for help, because sometimes it's asking for help for the next stage may be the reason why they are not doing it. Asking for help may mean that they are disgracing themselves, and all that. So, there are circumstances. So we sit down and analyze the circumstances and look at the hidden meaning that it has for that person. The hidden meaning. A lot of times, what we call spiritual also can also be remember that we said that the brain likes to do things that it's used to doing. There are neural pathways. So the things that somebody has been used to doing, to be able to take further steps to change it might not be easy. So if, for example, in order to change those kind of things, you have to create either new activities, new environment, new set of friends, and new set of people for that person. That's why sometimes I tell people, they will say, I've made up my mind. I said, see, leave this issue of making up your mind. Just follow a system. It was James Clear that says, you don't rise to the level of your goal, but you fall to the level of your system. So sometimes you see people reading, you go and read because people are always reading around you. So if you are moving with people who are doing investment, look, there was a time I used to tell myself, how would people be talking about real estate? In fact, sometimes my wife will bear witness, and I will be trying to say, when will somebody be able to build this kind of this kind of building with this kind of salary is any? That is a scarcity mentality. Putting a limit upon myself to think that salary is the only thing that can give me the income. So, but when I remember there was a time, in fact, starting this company, Network Consult, it was because we went to Abuja and we came back and we were discussing in the vehicle. And it was like, how can people be doing this kind of thing? And all we are thinking about is just eating and drinking. Let's start something. So sometimes it is the company that you keep that will make you to be able to move forward and launch forward for the next step. Sometimes it is the activity. You will bear with me now that being on this call has ignited something, has increased something. And so imagine if somebody not only being on this call, but to have an execution group where they say, okay, we put this money and we buy this. Okay, what have you bought? Execution. So all these things are systems that are built to be able to overcome such things. And so we help people to plan and develop those systems. I have planned systems for myself and for others where a certain percentage of your money is going into something direct. There is no two way about it. You are not even thinking about that one again as part of your income because there is where it is going. So systems is how we overcome those kind of problems and limitations system. So eventually it becomes automated. You are not even thinking about it. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yes, it's it's in line with my thoughts too. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. So it's 9 o'clock now. Do we still have other things to share? Anybody? All right. So tomorrow we'll be having Dr. Emma Collins that will be talking about multiple streams of income. And then we'll be having Samuel Oposio that will be talking about living a legacy beyond just having financial independence to living a legacy. So with that, we'll be able to round up our session. So if you don't have any further comments or any other further questions, I think we can call it a night tonight.
Hello?
Yes, okay, Victor.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening to all. I came through the last part of it. I just got into town too.
Okay.
And I'm happy that I got that part. And I think I must commend you for the structuring of what I eventually just got, which has to do with the belief. I just hope our participants, and of course, all of us will take it seriously because it actually starts from there. And everyone's exposure to that belief system is unique. So if you copy, you only end, as my friend would say, you still end as a copycat and nothing original about it. And if that happens, the danger is that you can't move until you have to check where the original moves before you are able to move. And that becomes quite dangerous. So I just hope that we build that internal system that allows us. And my major takeaway was the statement you made, I think towards the end, where you said, this I have decided, or I now, all that thing, we can keep it aside. What's the system that you have? And that connects with generational wealth. If you have a system, it can outlive you. If you have yourself, you can die with it. So that is what we all need to be able to work on. So I'm so happy, although as I said, I think I got to my house just about 30 minutes ago. So, but I was able to get something out of it. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
Thank you very much. Yesterday too, I think I was trying to get across to you again, but I couldn't. Sometimes all these online things can be. But if you are getting to town this late, I'm very confident that it's because you are going to make money somewhere else and all that.
Okay, I understand.
All right. So thank you very much for your contributions and all that. So we still hope to have you with us tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll be rounding up and then
rounding up. I'm trusting God. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, have been on this call. Like I said yesterday, and a few people still joined us today. Tomorrow we are having 2 sessions. Those 2 sessions are solid on their own. And so if somebody still wants to be part of this, you can pay 5,000, even though we know that one of the sessions we are supposed to have today, we will have tomorrow. So that person will even be much more enriched. So each of these sessions can be a standalone on their own. So it's not as if one is totally dependent on the other. We are making it open that anybody that still want to join can still join. So you can still spread the word concerning what we have learned. But the most important part of this is who we are becoming. Please, let's put all this into into consideration and then into practice. By tomorrow, I will have put together the participants' manual that I'm going to share with everybody. And then I hope that my team will be able to also put together the e-certificate that we're going to also share with everybody, so that we just round it up there. All right. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof, and good night.
Thank you. Good
All right,
night.
please. Before we go, please, can we put on our videos so that we can take an online picture? Yes. Please, let's put on our videos so that we can take an online picture. Please, let's put on our videos. Let's do that quickly. Mrs. Bumi Okonoda, can you put on your video? Mary Doko, Godia, Kosi, Bliss, Joseph, Fidalsi, David Moore, Grace Fred. All right, so let's beautiful. It seems as if people are not here. Mike and Emeka, have they dropped? Okay. All right. All right, so thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, goodbye, sir.
Bye.
Yeah, goodbye, good night.
Mrs. Okonoda. Ọwá kúrò níbi tí náà wà wá lọ sí. You are muted now. You are speaking, but you are muted.
Oh, sorry. Once I'm another meat, so I was trying to warm the food. I just said in the beginning, this is Okonoda.
Okay.
So I was.
Okay. Good.
I've even pulled my dress. I had to go and wear my dress today.
Oh, sorry about that.
So that's why I wasted time.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay,
All
well
right,
done,
now.
well done. Okay, well done, well done, well done. Today was good.
Okay. So I'm ending the
Alright.
call.
Okay, good night. Thank you, mommy.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
All right.